what is your favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't like conspiracy theories. So that's impossible.
Oh.
You don't even think one's like a little funny? I'm not saying you have to believe in it. There's
I like the animal ones actually. Like cryptids, you know, like the Loch Ness Monster, like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I don't like the scary ones. I don't like Mothman.
Mothman, you know.
Sounds really scary.
Have you seen Mothman's statue though?
Have you seen the statue?
He's caked up.
Yeah,
What? Hello, welcome to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. I'm your host, Shuyler Mao, with Lucas Grassberger.
Hello.
And Kelsey Lair's back. And we are here to discuss collaborations, some thoughts on future self-collaborations, perhaps. Oxymoronic a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, Lucas, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun partnerships that we're working through right now. We're doing a heat straps collab, jackets, and a boot, which I'm having a lot of fun with. I think the canvas upper boot is kind of a new thing for us.
Yep. You're going to do a tactical version of that, right?
That is already in production and being sewn up. Yeah.
So we're just like buying the canvas from heat straps, right?
Yeah. So we're going to work out the details there, but yeah. So we've got another version going through that is like a coyote brown. It's going to be a canvas upper. I'm throwing on the unit honey lug sole because I thought that looked pretty cool. So trying out a few different versions.
Cool.
So we're doing that. You know, obviously there's the Rose Anvil collabs. The ND 1, 2, 3, 4 is coming up. 5 is right around the corner. And then we're also doing a little. Is the other thing that we're doing with them, is that like under wraps?
I don't know.
Okay.
You would know better than me.
So we're doing a blood core ND1. This, you may or may not hear this. I don't know if this is gonna make it in the final cut, but yeah. So a blood core ND1 is going through as like a little limited release drop. So that's going through production right now, and then we have the Carl Morawski collab boot, which is launching or has already launched by the time this video is out, I think.
Yes.
Which is really cool on the
Is pretty
overdyed.
sick.
I think that might be.
He loves the 67.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with Carl.
I will say. So we have our weekly meetings with, the team meetings over here, operations.
And there's nothing
marketing.
wrong with the 67. It's just
No.
like by far less popular than the other ones. And I'm like, well, should we do this in something that a lot of people like?
And it can be a little bit more difficult.
No, we shouldn't. We will do it in the niche last,
Yeah.
the 67. And maybe that makes it more special and more unique. Yeah. And I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah. The other thing is 67s are a little bit more difficult when it comes to building the boot, which is, we met last week. I met with the lasters like we do every week, and I let them know that, like, this is happening on Friday. It's like 67 last, lace to toe, veg tan, elastic toe. And they're like, oh, cool, great. So all the things that make it a little bit harder to make.
How much are you selling it for?
It's going to have to be a pretty...
It's got to be like $800,
yeah,
man.
it's going to be up there.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a beautiful boot. And the overdyed leather is really cool if you're into that sort of thing.
It is pretty sick.
But yeah, so we have a lot of partnerships going on right now. So we thought it'd be good to kind of just like talk about them, talk about our favorites, things coming up, if there's anything coming up, and then maybe some other ideas.
Okay, but you got to get the pricing nailed down with Carl, man.
Of course, yeah. We'll figure that out today.
A lot of cool collaborations. I think we've been, I don't know. I digress here a little bit, but it's been, we've wanted to grow this year. And so we've been doing a number of things, and collaborations are one of the things. So we've been pulling a lot more levers this year. It does seem like it's a little more challenging this year than maybe last year and definitely the year before that. So we're still kind of chugging along, but it does seem like we have to do more to make sure that happens, which is fine. It's the way of things,
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've also got Parkhurst, so the Parkhurst last
right.
as well. So Andrew and I are talking on Monday to kind of finalize the ongoing details of that. So that's cool. But yeah, those Wood Butcher.
The Wood Butcher, yeah, that's right. Collaboration with Awesome Framers.
Yeah.
It's a great boot. I think that's, definitely a little bit different because it's kind of like, it's a staple boot. It's not like a limited run kind of thing like a lot of our collaborations, but awesome option there. And we do a lot of those kind of micro, collabs with influencers and stuff too. I think there's a couple in the works that can't really go into too much detail yet because we're still figuring it out. But yeah, you brought up an idea of like, we've done like with the contender competition, we've done almost kind of like collabs with customers a little bit, where we have the contender series now that are, shout outs to people on Reddit, with like their actual boots with their photos of their specs, and those are available on the website. Yeah. We've also done like the maker series in the past.
I would love to do more of that. And like, how do does it make sense? I don't know. So the maker series obviously made sense because that was from employee boot builds, which I have not seen a cool one in a while, by the way.
Yeah. It's
like, what's that about?
I find it very interesting, in my opinion, seeing like employee boots go through. They are either some of the most wild configurations I've ever seen, or they go with like pretty stock stuff. Like there was that one that came through, I can't remember, it might have been Keith's boot. It was like kind of a James boot, black, but it had like oxblood bison, lineman patch, and like backstay.
No, thank you.
It's always a lot of that kind of stuff, like some two tones and like.
Yeah, we got to get some better taste back there. Is kind of what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I think that's one avenue. And also like, the customer boots make sense. Yeah. Right.
I think those are always fun. It's always fun being able to shout out customers to make, check out this build. This is like an awesome configuration that we didn't even think of. Yeah. There's a lot of customers who spend, frankly, probably too much time on our website, speccing out different ideas, different builds, saving the links, and like having a list of like, here's the build I'm going to do next, and after that, here's this.
No, that passion is incredible. So like really we've got to like figure out a way how we can kind of, I don't know, how do you make these targeted at a certain group? Because I do think we can get the word out, you know, and just balance a little more balance, I would say, between the third party and the first party there. That would be kind of my hope. So that's something we're thinking about. I don't know if you guys have any ideas on like what the best ways are to do that. I think the obvious sources would be customer boots. Secondarily would be employee boots. And I do think like it could be a style, right? Yeah. Like I think a different tonal configuration or something like that, that we rotate through different leathers.
That's one thing I'm thinking through too, is like it could be like kind of a theme, if that makes sense, like the Blackout series. There's the Urban Drifter, the Urban Logger, the Overlander. They're all black CXL, black. Everything's black. It's all black. There's like the James, the Zurich collection, those types of things where there's like a kind of a theme that it fits into. I think doing more of that kind of stuff could be really interesting.
That's cool. I like that idea. Yeah, we could have more collection-driven stuff. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sort of what we're doing with some of these new leathers. Yeah. Speaking of the new leathers that we are soliciting your feedback on, please. When are we starting to post that? Like tomorrow?
Today.
Oh, today.
Yeah, so it'll be out.
Okay, so you'll see that on our subreddit. We'll be putting it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So please check our channels. We'd love to get your feedback on which of these new leathers you would prefer to see, especially first. And so we'll kind of get the community's feedback on that and rank that. And that's kind of what I think we're doing a better job from a collection standpoint, is like, we'll kind of have a grouping of leathers that would be like, okay, this is a kind of our fall or summer mix for new stuff. And we'll try and, obviously curate that in a sensical way. But yeah, like, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Kind of more collection driven.
Yeah.
Configurations.
And maybe doing stuff kind of like we do with the Palouse, like the big iron and the ranch hand.
Yeah.
Where it's like configurations that we spec out and offer. I think that's one of our big strengths is all of the options.
Yeah.
But that can be a weakness a little bit sometimes
It would
too, because it can be
overwhelming.
hard to conceptualize what things look like, and so putting those things together and offering them as like a unique option can be really interesting, I think.
It could be like interesting lineman patches or
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and those things could be, I think the thing we'll have to figure out is like, is that something that we put on the website for a week and offer? Like you can spec it out on other stuff, but like it's a product purchasable.
I think the
as
collections
is for a
can
week,
just
and
live,
then-
as long as
Yeah.
they sell, they
Mhm.
can just live out there. Like I'd love to see kind of an expansion of like the canvas,
Yeah.
the canvas opportunities. I think that makes sense. But yeah, let's think through that. I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, but lots to come. So that's cool. Yeah, I hope this car boot sells well.
Yeah. Is there I guess like looking back, last 5 years, is there a favorite collab we've done of yours?
I mean, it would have to be the ND1, right? Just because that had such a big impact.
Style wise, is there one that like one you could see yourself wearing? Put you on the
I'm
spot.
trying to think through them.
Yeah, there's
I
been
like
a
some.
lot.
I like some of the Zurich models.
Yeah,
I think those are cool.
yeah. I
Like the James. I like the Merriman too.
tend to agree. I think it's really funny. Like black and brown is, I guess, like a fashion faux pas type of thing, but I think it looks great. Like my Builder Pros, my first Nicks are black rough out with a walnut heel counter and backstay. I love that combo.
Yeah, I'm not a style maven or anything, but I don't know. I think that's more mismatched materials or in those colors, but like, because I can think of like some pretty iconic black and brown shoes, that I've seen out there. But yeah, no, it's it'll be good. We've got a lot of options here, so I think it's time for us to get creative and because it's weird, right? Because you're like, okay, you make your thing, like here you go. Like,
Yeah.
Here are all the options.
Yep.
The world is your oyster. But we don't really have the creative input on it that I think we should. I'm not saying we'd like get rid of the MTO capability, but like I do think there's a lot of room for us to play, like with kind of coming up with some more iconic configurations and that sort of thing.
No, I tend to agree. I think there are people out there who don't want to have to think about it and don't want to have to build out every step of the way. Some people just kind of want to be like, you tell me what you think is the best looking combo. So I think could be some interesting opportunities there.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be really cool to get some visibility into that. What else you got coming up here?
So along with the canvas upper boot, I put in another. So I put that one in, the tactical canvas upper, and I put in another version of it to test some things out. Bringing back an older padded collar that we used to do. So I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to look cool. So two kind of like, I guess technically they fit under the tactical umbrella, but this would be more like, casual tactical style, if that makes sense.
Sure. Street warrior.
Yeah. You know, people wear that type of stuff all the time.
The Street Wolf collection.
Other than that, we're talking through, one that I think one of the first kind of collections we ever did was like the Hooligan series, which was meant to be like a moto boot, but it kind of devolved into just kind of a black and brown boot with some stylistic choices. So I've been looking at that, and I want to bring back something that's a little bit more specific to writing. Maybe bringing back some patches and things, shift patches, and going back to kind of the original hooligan, which I think can be really cool. One of our finishers, Ben, has one, and it's a really cool looking
Oh
boot.
yeah, the original version.
Yeah.
Before we basically changed it so that it wasn't actually
It had no special
relevant.
traits
Yeah,
about.
that was cool.
Yeah, like rough out upper, had an extra patch on it. It just looked really awesome. Had the padded collar. That is actually where I started thinking about bringing back, because we used to do the double padded collar.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. I love that. I
yeah.
mean, it'd be cool to see that come out in some form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be playing around with some stuff like that.
So I thought about. I think the new Wood Butcher. I really like the new Wood Butcher.
Yeah, it's clean. It's really nice.
It's just like a functionally a great boot.
Yeah.
You know, like everything there has a purpose, which I
Yeah.
really like.
That is another, yeah, that's one of those situations, again, where it's like the Wood Butcher, you know, we offer customization on it. In my opinion, the best version of it is the version we photoed.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it looks great as is. But we can still offer color options, but like, it's just really interesting how many people shop with their eyes, and like they see a thing, they want to buy that thing. But yeah, I think the Wood Butcher's a great boot. Doing a lot more of that kind of function built special, you know, styles.
Yeah,
Really
no, I like that.
interesting.
I like that stuff. I thought about doing some more trades specific stuff as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good idea. Kelsey, what do you like of the collabs?
My favorite was the tanker with Carl when we launched the Ember Wax brush.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a nice boot.
Okay. Well, collaborations.
Yeah, lots to think through. Lots of fun stuff.
They're kind of
Coming up.
expensive. That's the only downside. So yeah, we'll keep working on that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Kind of a short one today for Shuyler, Lucas, and Kelsey. We'll talk to you later. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you. Bye.